time for Mac Geek Gab, and I'll bring us our quick tip of the week, something I did without thinking about it, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do. I was in a Google Doc in my web browser, and I wanted to make a PDF of it. And without even thinking, I just hit Command-P. And what happened? It saved a PDF. It didn't ask me any questions. Nothing else happened. I'm sure I've done this before, or at some level given Google permission to download things, right? Because there's that window that Safari brings up. But other than that, Command-P, and I've tried this again, it works. It just saves a PDF of the current document that you are in. I love quick tips like that, things that actually make my life easier. And so we will do more tips like this, plus your questions answered and some cool stuff found and some gift guide stuff today on Mac Geek Gab 1116 for Wednesday, November 17th, National Homemade Bread Day. 2025. Bread. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Mac Geek Gab, the show where, indeed, we share your tips, we share our tips, we share your cool stuff found, we share your gift guide, we share our cool stuff found, your gift guide, we share questions, sometimes from us, sometimes from you, and hopefully answers, or at least things that get us down the path of solving or learning something, because the goal is to learn, for each of us, to learn at least 5 new things every single time we get together. Our sponsors for this episode include NordLayer.com/MacGeekGab, where coupon code MacGeekGab-10 saves you an additional 10% off of the already 22% off. Framer.com/design, where you can use code MGG for a free month of Framer Pro. Very cool. It's just this design, create, publish your site tool all in one. It's great. DrinkAG1.com/MGG. That gets you a free welcome kit with an AG1 Flavor Sampler and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2. And our friends at CleanMyMac. You can use code MacGeek for 20% off. I know everybody's using different coupon codes these days, and so we put them all in the show notes for you at MacGeekGab.com. You can go and see them at any time. Makes life easy. You can click right from there. And if you want to make it even easier, get the show notes in your email. Sign up when you visit MacGeekGab.com. There's a little thing. Sign up, and we deliver the show notes to your email. And we don't sell your email address or give it to anybody or do anything with it. We keep it for ourselves and for the things that we all do together.
It's like throwing money away, Dave.
I know.
Sell those things.
It is, candidly. Yes. It totally is. And it's money we are happy to throw away.
There you go.
Yeah, no, it's not how we roll here. We do have the Mac Geek Gab monthly giveaway. We're doing that this month with OpenCase. So you can go and sign up to win an OpenCase at MacGeekGab.com/giveaway. So there's that. And then Pete and I are getting ready to go off to CES in a couple of months here. And it's starting to heat up. We're getting, our schedules together and kind of pulling all that stuff together. And literally an hour ago, Pete, I was able to lock things in with what turns out to be our very first CES 2026 coverage sponsor for this year. So if you'll indulge me, I would like to tell you that it's Busy Cal. And speaking of different coupon codes, they gave us one. MacGeekGab10 at MacGeekGab10 saves you 10% off of Busy Cal. And Busy Contacts.
Sweet.
So I'm stoked to have them. I know.
I thought you were going to say an hour ago we got back from CES.
No.
It came so fast.
I know. It's almost here. Yeah. It
You
is.
haven't
It's
even said who we are yet. I'm sorry I interrupted.
and here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And here also in New Hampshire, it's Pilot Pete. Good to be back with you. Pushed Adam off the iceberg this week. He'll have to
I had too much
back.
to say, so we just pushed him off. No. He's unfortunately, we could not make the schedules align this time around, which sometimes happens, but that's okay. That's okay.
Exactly.
He'll be back next week, as I'm told. All right, that was a lot of like show announcements and things. Lots of good stuff though. Like I'm always really excited about all the great things that we have. And so anyway, let's get back to the why we're actually here. The quick tips. Yeah.
Time for another tick quip.
Please do.
And, mine is, I've actually got my phone out to describe it as I do it because I realized the other day, so Marine Corps birthday and all that was all last week. So there's 40 or 50 Marines I'm in touch with. Happy birthday,
Sure.
Marine, all that stuff. And of course, the memes are flying left and right. And I was looking for one and I couldn't find it. And I couldn't remember who sent it to me. I'm like, I'm looking one by one through the contacts in messages and couldn't find it. And after about 4 of them, I went, oh, this is stupid. I think I remember something. And sure enough, if you're looking for a photo in messages, but you can't remember who sent it to you, or a meme in this case, tap on the search bar. And
In
right
messages?
at the bottom, tap on search.
Okay. Yeah, I believe you.
And then the first thing that is going to come up at the top, you may see one contact, but you'll see the word collaboration. And if you swipe anywhere, grab any one of those tiles, just swipe up a little bit. The next category down is going to be links. Oh. And then the third category down is photos. And if you look to the right, tap on see all, and you can quickly see all of the photos and or memes that are in your messages. And it was probably about 6 or 7 photos in, and there it was, bigger than you know what, easier for you to find and see. So if you're looking for a photo and you don't remember to whom or from whom it was sent, that's the way to do it. Tap on the search bar, swipe up on the collaborations and links until you get to photos. Or if you're looking for a link, you can go to links and see all. And
interesting.
Yeah. I knew I had done it before and had forgotten about it. And then when I was becoming quickly frustrated because it was tedious going through, go to this guy and then, swipe up 4 or 5 days worth of messages. Nope, not there.
I can one up. One up is the wrong term.
There you go.
I can add on to this. Yes, and here we go. I wanted to find a photo, and I went and looked. I was following along, and I found a photo that I knew had some words in it just to make life easy for myself on what I wanted to try. Oh. And then in the search bar, I just typed what was in the photo, and it found messages that mentioned this phrase. And then also below the messages in the search results were photos that matched it. So it is doing media analysis on the photos in messages, which makes perfect sense. We talked a couple of weeks ago about my issues with macOS 26 on one of my Macs where it was just indexing all the time. And I found that there was that photos library that is actually just your messages photos, right? So it makes sense that it's doing all this analysis on those. We might as well get something out of it. And sure enough, you can search. If you know what the meme was, you can find it, and you don't have to. In fact, I'm going to tell you not to tell us what the meme was, because I can only imagine what's happening amongst Marine pilots being sent around. So
it wasn't dirty. But it certainly puffed up the Marine Corps over the.
Sure. Oh, yes. Yes. Potentially offensive if you were in a different branch of the military. There you go.
Which is okay with us. I'm sitting here eating my purple crayon, perfectly happy to denigrate the other services.
That's right. Yeah, well, all right. Let's and that's all in good fun. We pick no favorites here. So J.K. Dawson has another tip for us that I had no idea we could do. And that is, let me find it and read it in J.K. Dawson's words here. It says, in settings on your iPhone under music, you can scroll down now and you come to transfer music from other services. You get the option to choose a service. J.K. Dawson shows him Amazon, Deezer, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube. You select the service you want, you give it your login credentials, and you can import music and or playlists from that service into Apple Music. He says it worked great for me for the Spotify playlists that one of my kids sent me that I wanted to replicate into Apple Music. Yeah, man. That's very cool.
My daughter off of Spotify and into Apple Music.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Because that's her reasoning for staying with Spotify was my playlists,
Sure. Okay. That's a good reason. Yeah. I will say that Spotify's curated playlists, either curated by Spotify employees or by Like other humans that are on Spotify. They do a much better job with playlists than Apple does. Apple has some good playlists, but Spotify's playlist, like their music discovery on Spotify is, in my opinion, better than what Apple does. So, yeah. But if that's not something you care about, but you just have your own playlists over there, this will now let you slurp them right on in. Okay. So, yeah, great find. Because that used to be a pain in the neck. I think this is it. I think it's new with 26. I don't think this was there before. It's certainly new-ish, because I tried to do something like this, and many of us did. We talked about it on the show. We talked about third-party utilities, and it was a pain in the neck trying to do this. So I'm glad that this just exists in there. Yeah.
Hey, before you go to your next quick tip, I want to tell you I saw it in the preparation and did it. Bang, zoom, boom, done. In and out in, I think, 20 minutes.
Yes. So the quick tip that Pete is alluding to is setting up your Apple Digital ID, which is something that you can do in, I believe, the U.S. and Japan at the moment.
It looks like Japan was the other one at the bottom. And about, I don't know, it looked like 10 or a dozen states.
Well, you can put your driver's you can put your driver's license in, and that's been there for a little while. But just this past week, Apple's Digital ID was put in there for people who have U.S. passports. And it does not replace your passport entirely in functionality, but it does. It will be rolled out in beta at, like, I think 250 airports TSA checkpoints.
That's what I read,
yeah. And we had I think it was Gary who wrote in and said, I'm not going to do this because I don't want to hand my phone to a TSA agent or something, where it could be potentially, they could, if it's unlocked, they could dig into it or whatever. And I certainly haven't been through this at TSA. I have installed this on my phone. I have activated this. It was very, very straightforward. Very cool. In fact, you take a picture of your passport and then you use I think it's RFID in your passport.
Yeah, the chip in the back of the passport.
It reads from that and does the whole thing.
And then it makes you take pictures of yourself with your eyes closed and your head up and that kind of to verify it's you, right?
To verify you're a living being, not like holding up pictures of yourself or something. So, but yeah, the process went very, very quickly. And now that it's in there, though, it appears as though it will operate just like your credit card does. So just like you don't hand your phone to the clerk at the store when you pay with Apple Pay, this would be the same thing. It's a tap to identify yourself as opposed to tap to pay. It comes up the same way on your phone when you do it. And so I don't think that it's going to be a problem where you have to hand it to somebody for them to scan. You just put it on the reader, NFC reader, and you're good to go. Yeah.
I would offer this, Dave. Do even if you don't want to use it at a TSA checkpoint,
sure,
do it, because I think, and I could be wrong, but I'm in the suspicious mode that if you are in a foreign country and your passport is either stolen or lost, you now have proof that you're you, that's it, and it will help you at a consulate to get your passport replaced.
It's certainly not going to hurt you. No. This would have helped me years and years ago, before you and I ever met.
At the Canadian border, as I recall.
No, it was, at the Canadian border for sure. No, but this was less longer ago than that, more recently. I talked about it on the show where I arrived at the airport to fly to LA for some conference or meeting or something, and went to check in at the desk because I had luggage or something, and I did not have my driver's license with me, and nor did I have a passport with me, and and so I was able to get on that plane. I had a credit card at the time that had my photo on it, which helped. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it like the woman told me at the desk. She was like, "Okay, you'll likely be able to get on the plane, but you are about to go through every security pat down and screening that is available because that's just how this is going to work for you." And so
Did you get any phone numbers, Dave?
Yeah, exactly. She's like, hurry, go there because this is gonna slow you down. I'm like, okay, great. So she took my luggage, all good, and she was right. And I got on the plane, and then I had Lisa FedEx me my driver's license in LA so that I didn't have that problem on the return. Thankfully, I wasn't renting a car or anything like that. But in that scenario, this, I believe, would have made it a non-issue. So
I think so.
I agree with your sentiment there. Go do this. If you trust Apple when they say that you're going to keep your data on your phone, then there's no reason not to do this and have it. And then in the moment, you can decide if you want to use this or not use this, and that's totally okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I knew a UPS pilot. It took him 3 weeks to get out of China when his passport got taken from his hotel room.
Yeah, that sucks.
That sucks. He had no proof of who he was.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yes. Yeah. So it's something. Yeah. I wish credit cards had my picture on them. I liked it when Citibank did that. That was the very first selfie I ever took, Pete. It was probably 1996, I would say. Wow. And I took it with a Polaroid camera, and I had to I took a couple of them because the first one, my shoulder was up really high because I was holding the camera out, like we've all now learned to do. That was my first experience taking a selfie was with that Polaroid camera for my Citibank credit card. Oh, yeah. Anyway, blast from the past. Shall we move on with other quick tips, Pete?
We shall. I've got my phone out for this one too, Dave. This is cool. So if you go into Mail on your phone in iOS Mail, everybody knows when you're sitting there looking at the list, you can take any given message, email, and you can swipe to the right and you can mark it as read or unread or set a reminder or that sort of thing. Or you could swipe it to the left and you get the option of trash, flag, or more, and that brings you your, remind me, move it to junk, whatever. You do all those things. But if you actually open the email itself, and you're in there, you can swipe the whole email to the left and mark it unread, or the whole email to the right, and you get trash, flag, reply. You can manage your mail from within the mail itself. You don't have to be in the list.
What?
I know, right?
I had no idea. What?
I stumbled across it.
This is great for triaging mail because I'm not just triaging it based on the subject and teaser or whatever. Yeah. I can see the message and then it brings me to my next one when I just deleted a message when I was doing this.
And next one pops up.
And the next one pops up and I could have deleted that or archived it or done whatever I wanted to do. Dude, this is my favorite quick tips segment that we've had in a while because I learned about the photos thing. Even though I was the one that taught it, I didn't know you could do it. And I learned about the other part of the photos thing that you taught. This is great. Love this. Yeah. Let's see how much better it can get.
All right.
See. Shall we? Shall we move on and see what we're doing? Ben shares the next one with us, which is recently. I was having issues with Siri working on my Apple Watch Series 9, updated to iOS 20 or WatchOS 26.1. For basic requests like, hey, S lady, play some music, it would respond after a long pause. Sorry, can you say that again? Restarting the watch did not help. Following Apple's support article, I disabled Talk to Siri on my iPhone and then re-enabled it, which forced me to go through the retraining process. After that, it worked just fine on the watch. So that's really interesting. Retraining Siri to kind of get her back up to speed. It makes sense that training could get corrupted or munged or whatever word you want to use. That's a good another good tip. I don't know that I would have thought of that. I
wouldn't have.
I didn't know that was available. So that's what I love about that tip. That's great. All right, we have one last quick tip, which is kind of a don't get caught. So, I put it last because, it sort of crosses the line.
It's a longer tip, I guess.
Go.
So Paul writes in, he goes, I'm very cautious with email links and spot this before I even open the email. But why is Apple email so bad at filtering obviously wrong and phishing emails? Man, I got to agree with you there, Paul. I'm mostly asking because I had a call from an octogenarian recently that I'm pretty sure got phished. Not that fish, Dave. That octogenarian does like the band Fish.
All right. Well, good. All right. Well, then we're happy to help. Yeah.
So and he sent some screenshots, and I wrote back. I'm like, you're right, Paul. It looks like a classic fish, and Mail's filtering is far from perfect, and it's sad we have to even talk about this so
We're not
often.
talking about Mail's filtering. I just want to make it clear. We're talking about iCloud Mail's filtering here.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Because Mail doesn't do any filtering like that.
No,
It's
correct.
up to your Mail, the Mail server that is going to do this.
iCloud is letting it through. So
in his case, it was iCloud. Yeah.
So what I came up was basically 4 red flags, and then the number 1 rule at the bottom. But the address mismatch. If the name displays iCloud, but if you click on the from address, and in this case, it was not an iCloud. It was a Mac.com address, but it wasn't an iCloud. It didn't match. The from didn't really, reply to didn't match what was in there.
I see.
That's a big red
Oh,
flag,
this was appearing to come from Apple, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
And Apple
yeah.
won't ever contact you with anything except an Apple.com or an iCloud.com address, and never from a random personal domain, obviously.
Right.
Or Gmail.
Yeah.
Apple doesn't use Gmail to reach out to you, but
Chances are.
And it looks like they spoof, right? So it looks like apple.com, but if you look at the address that's really underneath there, it's not. And then the other one that was in there, you're going to lose access to your email account. You got to act today.
Yeah.
Really? Come on. That's the biggest red flag there is. If there's an urgency, then
they get you. I've almost been gotten by a couple of those.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to lose access to your account on this system if you don't. It's like, oh shoot, I got to get on that.
Would be bad.
Yeah, it gets you. That's a really good. I say good. It's bad, but it's a good. It's a smart way for them to get past your normal defenses when suddenly they put you in urgency mode like that. It's because I think something this week, I forget what it was, but it happened to me. So yeah, almost
And then make sure the link matches too. You'll get words, but if you look at the link, if it doesn't, if it says it's from Apple, but it doesn't really go to apple.com. Now there could be a subdomain. It could be, and this is an example that probably doesn't hold true. It could be discussions.apple.com.
Sure.
As long as the apple.com is what it ends in, you're probably okay, but you know what? You could always type one in from your browser instead of clicking on the link, and I'll get to that here in a second. And then the other one is obviously, and they're getting better at this because they're starting to use AI to get rid of it, but you will lose access. All right. Bad grammar. Rarely does a major company send out.
It happens, but you're right.
Sure, it can happen.
Yeah.
But that's another red flag. So, and then I go to, I guess it's a don't get caught quick tip. Number 1 rule: never click on an link in an email if you're not expecting that link and you don't know from whom it was received. Like Dave says, I'm sending you this link. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll click it. But
yeah. But also, like you said, even if you do click it, make sure the domain where you're landing is the domain where you thought you were going. Is because the one I had this week was something. I think it was like it was 1Password or something. I mean, it was a good one. Somebody was trying to in person saying you need to reset your password, and I went and almost logged in with my 1Password credentials, but the fact that it didn't auto-populate was like, wait, what's going on here? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the one other thing I have done, because some of these phishing scams, they're getting good.
Yeah.
They're getting way too good.
Yeah.
I have grabbed the entire email and including, show all headers, grab all the headers and the email, and I've thrown it into ChatGPT and said, what do you think?
Yeah.
And ChatGPT is like, no, this is definitely a scam. And here it is. There's your key.
And here's that's a good idea. That's a good idea. All right, we have more questions to answer. We've got some gift guide stuff that I'm really excited to get to, which is kind of like cool stuff found, just like targeted, and we'll explain what we mean. But we've got some of that and some questions coming up next. But the next thing that I want to do is I want to talk about our sponsors. And do you ever wish that building a website felt more like designing something in a graphics app than wrangling code? I mean, yeah. Me too. Even though I know how to code, it doesn't mean that that's when I want to do it. And that's where our sponsor, Framer, shines. Framer already built the fastest way to publish beautiful, production-ready websites, and it's now redefining how we design for the web. With the recent launch of Design Pages, a free canvas-based design tool, Framer is more than a site builder. It's a true all-in-one design platform, from social assets to campaign visuals to vectors and icons, all the way to your live site. Framer is where ideas go live, start to finish. And here's the kicker. It's totally free to get started. Unlimited projects, unlimited collaborators, full-on design power, vector workflows, 3D transforms, gradients, you name it. It's all there. No more switching between Figma, Photoshop, and whatever HTML hackery you've been using. Framer gives you the whole pipeline. Design it, refine it, publish it, and it's fast, like dangerously fast. So fast you could blink and miss it. Which reminds me, don't get caught doing things the old way. Are you ready to design, iterate, and publish all in one tool? Start creating for free at framer.com/design and then use code MGG for a free month of Framer Pro. So that's framer.com/design and use promo code MGG. Framer.com/design. Promo code MGG. Rules and restrictions may apply. Our thanks to Framer for sponsoring this episode. And you know how we always talk about tech that makes life easier, right? That's kind of what we do here, right? Well, I've been using AG1 every morning for the past almost 2 months, and it's that same kind of upgrade, but for me, for my body, right? I feel more consistent energy throughout the day. My digestion's rock solid, and I love that I'm starting the day hydrated and dialed in, like to take AG1. You blend it. You just mix it. You just pour the powder in a container that they give you, and then you shake it up for a few seconds, and then you drink it. It's super easy. It's one scoop once a day, and you get 75 high-quality ingredients, vitamins, probiotics, functional mushrooms, and more. It supports energy, gut health, and overall readiness without needing a drawer full of supplement bottles. It's become my first little micro habit of every day, right? I mix it, I drink it, and I'm already winning. For me, that kind of clarity and consistency is worth every sip. So if you want to stay one scoop ahead and keep your system running like your favorite tech setup, smooth, clean, efficient, AG1's the move. Don't get caught without your base covered. Head to drinkag1.com/MGG to get your free welcome kit with an AG1 Flavor Sampler and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 when you first subscribe. That's drinkag1.com/MGG. Make sure you check it out. I think you're going to really like this stuff. And our thanks to AG1 for sponsoring this episode.
Dave.
Pete.
You changed so fast. Your hat was off, and then it was on, and then it was off.
I know. It's crazy.
How do you do that? It's magic.
It is magic. My hair remains perfect no matter what. It's great.
Right. So there's the first question, and he's answered it. So
great.
The answer is magic.
It's magic, folks. Yeah.
But here's another question, because
which makes absolutely no sense to 99.3% of the audience.
I'll let you in on
only.
the joke. So Dave does a pre-recorded ad, and he does it on camera, so the people watching on YouTube see it. And he's
it was cold in here
wearing a hat
ads.
because he was wearing a hat when he recorded the part.
That's right.
Beast.
That's right. Yeah.
And instantly the hat goes away. So, but it's all in the same studio. All else was the same.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, Dan writes in with the next question, though, and he says, my concern started with this article about this smart vacuum and how it was sending lots of data and resisted interesting over-the-top efforts to shut it down. I have a relative, and we'll put the link to the article in the show notes, I assume. He says, I have a relative with a bunch of morose switches and Eufy locks and doorbells and cameras, and I think their robot vacuum cleaner. And, there's a garage door opener in there, too. I don't remember the brand. They're happy with all this functionality. In contrast, I don't have any IoT devices enabled. The first question is, should I try to convince them to put these devices on a different network somehow? And the closely related question is, what sort of inconvenience will that present to them? Also, how difficult is it to do? And is there a good resource to read up on all of this? I thought I'd look at my own setup first, but the username and password I have in 1Password for my router doesn't work. And now I'm wondering if resetting the router's password with the serial number will mess up anything on my network. And a lot of this is reminding me of my favorite saying from the show. If it's not broken, fix it until it is. And I was actually at one point going to do this myself, Dave. So I'm interested in your answer.
Okay. The as for your router, I'll answer in reverse. I don't know exactly which router he said. I don't think he said which router it was. But generally speaking, with most routers, if you reset it, it would be a factory reset with losing all of its settings, not just the password. That's kind of the security. That's how it works. And of course, that depends on the router, but that's what I would expect. So yeah, you would likely lose all of your settings, which kind of sucks. But take a look at the router manual or what have you, and maybe you can find it online too. So that's the first thing there. So I wish I had a better answer for you, but I don't. As far as setting up. First of all, that article is wild. The fact that the manufacturer sent remote kill commands to this vacuum because the guy blocked it, like it was crazy, right? This guy went through and tweaked his settings so that it wouldn't let the vacuum wouldn't let it talk to the servers to send it data, but it could talk to the update servers. Like he went kind of nuts on this. And then they bricked it, and he talks all about it. So kudos to the guy for being crazy like that. Actually, there's somebody else that did something crazy that we're going to talk about later in the show too. I love the idea of having an alternate network for your Internet of Things, an alternate Wi-Fi network for your Internet of Things that sequesters them and keeps them separate from everything else in your house. And you could certainly set this up. However, if the device has no local control, if it is truly cloud-based, then once it's set up, it doesn't matter what network it's on, because you're never talking directly to the device in your home. You're talking to the cloud, and the cloud is talking back down to the device, and vice versa. So like that there's this relay that happens, and you can't talk to your device, you can't activate it with your phone unless you have internet access at your house, right? Unless all things are connected. So if that's the case, then sure, you can do this. However, if you are talking directly to the device, if it has local control, a printer is a great example, right? You got to talk directly to the printer. HomeKit devices, you talk directly to them. With those, you need to be on the same network as it in order to talk to it. If you have sequestered it off on a network, then you can't talk to it. And so, you can't print, can't talk to your devices. So I have never done this for myself. I always say we all choose our spot on the continuum that exists between ultimate convenience and ultimate security. And the closer we get to ultimate security, the less convenient it is, right? So, and this is a perfect example of that. If you want your printer to be on a separate network, then you need to put your Mac on that network anytime you want to print, and then take your Mac off of that network when you don't want to print. And that's fine. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with doing that, but it's a choice, right? And it adds friction to the process, which is the whole point. You're adding friction as a way of implementing security. So I don't do this. My bias against it comes from troubleshooting this with people who have set it up and painted themselves into a corner where they have their devices all nice and secure, and then they can't use them the way they want to use them, or they don't work the right way. Right. I mean, like that's the whole point. So I always say it's like, I could build my convenience. I could build my house with bricks, right? Yeah. Just bricks, no windows, no doors, only bricks. But I know, and it would make it very difficult for an intruder to get in. Also makes it difficult for me to get in or out. But that's the cost, right? Think
how well you could sleep at night.
I know.
No light wandering in.
It'd be like the interior cabin on a cruise ship. Like, it just doesn't matter what the time of day is. You just go to sleep. So, that's where I certainly have a bias against this, if that's not obvious. And it's because I've just seen people paint themselves into corners with this far too often, because it's easy to just go and start doing it and not first think about what it is you're doing and what impacts that's going to have beyond the desired impact of taking this particular IoT device and sequestering it off. So that's my advice is don't do it. But if you're going to do it, think about all the implications of it. And then you're fine. Again, eyes wide open.
Yeah.
No judgment. We get a lot of questions in here about things, and that's not an infrequent one. So
I suppose if you wanted to do it with some things, you could effectively set up automations, but then you're stuck with those automations until you go, onto that network, so to speak. And
exactly.
I'm thinking shades and lights and that kind of stuff.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, but your shades, it's possible that your shades are 100% cloud-based. I don't know which shades you have or how they communicate.
Yeah, I got the cassette of Lutrons, but it had to come with the Lutron bridge.
Yeah, but again, are you talking to the bridge directly, or are you talking to it via the cloud? Because if you're talking to it via the cloud, then you're all good. It doesn't matter what network it's on. So I mean, and that's true with a lot of IoT devices. And this is where people get in trouble, is they'll do it with some that are truly 100% cloud-based, and it works great, right? Like you don't notice any friction. It's just like it works like I expect it to, and that's awesome. And then they'll do it to one that requires local or relies on local access and be like, why doesn't this work? This sucks. And it's send in a question, and it's like, wait a minute. What do you? Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, you can't do that. And it's fine. Like you could have an IoT network that you only put the cloud-based things on, and then leave the others over, and that presumably would work fine. But again, that requires like a lot of not a lot, but it requires extra thought and thoughtfulness when you're putting it all together. And again, nothing wrong with that. Like, love that. So,
I don't know. Extra thoughtfulness on my part is sometimes difficult, Dave.
Steven has been extra thoughtful and wrote in a question. He says, help. I'm just coming back to Mac OS after roughly a decade of being away. Welcome back, Steven. How do I turn off the pop-up asking me, are you sure you want to shut down your computer now when I'm shutting down my Mac? You want to take this one, Pete?
Yeah, I'll do it. And I will echo. Welcome back to the Mac.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Mac OS, at least is in my research, no longer allows disabling the shutdown confirmation dialog. That being said, if you're in a hurry to walk away, you can hit shutdown, and it will, after 60 seconds, shut down. Unless, of course, something stops it and you've left. So be aware that could happen as well. I haven't been able to find any terminal command or anything like that to do it, but I was able to find a support.apple.com page with lots of keystroke things, and there are a couple options in there. Hold down the Option key while choosing shutdown. That skips the confirmation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's the answer.
So yeah,
I mean, I think that really is the answer, Pete.
That really is. Yeah, I mean, it requires an extra key press as you're doing it, but there's some really cool ones in there. Control Option Command plus the power button for immediate shutdown with no dialogue at all. And then there's another one in there I saw was Control Option Command power button on built-in keyboards without Touch ID, quits all apps, and then shuts down the Mac. And I went back and looked through to make sure it does in fact, smoothly shut things down without cutting the throat of things and causing data loss.
Yeah.
So
all right. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, holding down the Option key is the way to do it. There's no way to. What he was asking, there's no way to bypass it permanently. You just need to know.
Yeah. You got to know to use the Option key. So you said there's no terminal command, and I really want to agree with you because there's no terminal command that I know of that maybe there is one, but I don't know. So if you know, feedback at MacGeekGab.com.
Wait, feedback at MacGeekGab.com?
That's right, feedback at MacGeekGab.com. Okay. Yeah. There is one that I know of, though, that will shut down your Mac.
Oh, yeah, it will.
But that's the thing. Like, that's the right sentiment to have, Pete, because what it will do is it bypasses, like when you shut down your Mac from the user interface, it first quits all of the active apps. Like it sends a quit command to them so that they can quit. They can prompt you to save if they want, all of the things, everything like shuts down in a nice, orderly fashion. If you use the terminal command that I'm about to tell you about, it does not happen in an orderly fashion. It just
Oh, you're
quit.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, it sends like backdoor quit commands to everything and kills them. It doesn't tell them to quit. It just yanks the rug out from under them. Yeah. And that command is sudo, because you got to be a super user. So sudo, super user do, space shutdown space -h space now. The -h tells it to halt, and that's the actual shutdown. Otherwise, it's likely to restart on you when you do this. But yeah, so I'll put that in the show notes, and there are times when I use it, but be aware that it's not recommended. I would not do this on a regular basis. I do it when I have to like log in separately and I'm troubleshooting something.
Or I assume if the machine is otherwise frozen up, you SSHN and.
Yeah. I would SSHN from another computer. I will say that this -H is dangerous if you're SSHing into a remote machine, because if you shut it down and you're not there to turn it back on, I got news for you, and I think you know what the news is. So
again, as I said, you're Jack the Ripper. You have cut its throat. It's dead.
But you can do it instead of -H for halt. You can do -R, correct, for restart. And then that will restart a remote computer, which is a super helpful thing. So that's actually the command that I often issue. The H is, use.
And this used to be an issue, and I think it's somehow been fixed now. If you have File Vault on, you still can get into it remotely.
With SSH now.
Used to be
with
to,
OS,
right?
Mac OS 26. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That is correct. Yeah. So, fun stuff. And then you're right. Your command option, or the option key with shutting down is the key there. So, OurStanley, we talked about various sleep tracking apps in last week's episode, and OurStanley wrote in and said he's been using Sleep Cycle recently, mostly for its ability to record or keep track of his snoring, which is a paid feature. He says it counts up how long I was snoring for each night and can even record them, which I've been using to test the effectiveness of various different devices that he has to mitigate snoring. He says, bonus tip, if you set a sleep focus to come on at a certain time each day, you can assign a custom home screen to have all of your bedtime apps available, like Sleep Cycle or Auto Sleep or podcasts or whatever it is you like to have, accessible when you're sleeping. But then they're not accessible, or they're not easily on the front screen when you're not sleeping. So using your sleep focus mode with a custom home screen, I never thought about that. That's really smart. And here's the bonus tip. Sleep Cycle, the app, supports shortcuts. So you can have a couple of different shortcuts defined and added to your sleep focus home screen. One to set the alarm for your workday preferred wake-up window, and another one for your weekend one. That way you're not battling the time selection wheels whilst climbing into bed. Sleep Cycle can also track your coughing and displays a map with a cough radar, which shows the daily levels of coughing in your town or city. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. Yeah, interesting. All right. He says, I don't know whether it's just their users or if there's some other data source where they're picking up cough data, but he says it does vary day to day. Fascinating. I love this stuff. Yep. It seems like, I think this conversation kicked off when I reviewed that Withings sleep mat, which I'm still using. Like, this thing's awesome. But now we're this is how it works on MACGEEK Gab. These conversations, just something catalyzes it, and every now and then one of them catches, and clearly a lot of us are thinking about tracking our sleep. So I love this.
Generically pop up. Yeah.
A
lot of people are dealing with sleep apnea and that sort of thing.
For sure. Yeah. Yep. Well, and we all, I think part of it is in our, like, the conversation is happening in society too. It's not left to our little microcosm here, in that many people are aware of the value of quality sleep now, and I think that's and
I don't think we had any idea how much sleep people weren't getting until relatively recently.
Yeah, exactly. And now we've got all the trackers that we talked about, the rings and the watches and all the stuff and the mats, anything to track our sleep, and it It definitely correlates. So, yeah. All right.
Well,
shall we move on to our final question?
We should, but I got to tell you,
Oh.
I know who needs it. I just saw the biggest, fattest squirrel of my life. He's going to need it for his sleep apnea.
Oh, yeah. Well,
this
it's
thing
time,
must have weighed
Pete.
4 pounds. He just
Yeah, well-
ran on my railing. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, it's that time. They got to squirrel up all their stuff so that they can they can survive for the winter. Yeah, man.
Well, they ate into a pumpkin and ate all the guts out, and I have a feeling that one fattened himself up on our pumpkin.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's our job. We got to this time of year. We put out our pumpkins to fatten up the squirrels. That's our job.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's it.
So Dick wrote in with our next and final question of the day, I believe. He says,
As far as we know.
Yeah, we'll find out. Dave, Pete, and Adam, thanks for being such good providers of information on all things Apple. I never miss a show, and I'm a premium subscriber. Thank you for that, Dick. I try to keep as current as possible when it comes to OS and iOS. So I have currently running Tahoe 26 and Safari 26. Apple has made a very annoying change that has me stumped. I love Safari bookmarks and keep all of my top websites on the favorites list. With the latest upgrade, the issue of the Bookmarks Sidebar not auto-opening at startup is back. Not the end of the world, but it adds another click that I don't need. Worse than that is the new giant, recently saved icons that take up a lot of screen real estate, and it does not appear that there is a way to make them go away. If you delete them, it also deletes them from the favorites folder. Beyond that, I'm not sure why I would ever need them and why in the world that someone at Apple thinks that they make any sense. Any thoughts, gentlemen? Richard from Galesville, Wisconsin. Wow. Yeah. Gentlemen, thank you.
So, you're totally right that the sidebar in Safari does not remember whether it was open or not. That setting does not persist across launches, at least not in 26.0.1. I don't know if it does in Safari 26.1. It may, but assuming it doesn't, there are a couple of ways of bringing this up, and that's what we're talking about is the sidebar, which is where bookmarks. If you want to see your bookmarks in that way, you can do it. So that's what he's talking about here. You could create a shortcut that opens Safari, waits half a second, and then issues Command-Shift-L, which is the keyboard sequence for show sidebar. And the default when you show the sidebar is to show your bookmarks. So you'll still have the big, giant, recently saved things at the top. That's something that it just seems is going to be there. But launching Safari with that shortcut would be the key. You could, if you're a Keyboard Maestro user, you could probably create a macro that every time Safari is launched, it issues that keystroke into Safari for you too. So that would be another way to do it, right? Another way to automate it. But I think that those are my answers. That's my thought. That's how I would solve that.
And a buried quick tip in there, Command-Shift-L.
Command-Shift-L. That's it. Yep. That's let's see, does it work on mine? Sure does. Works on mine right here. And there's my bookmarks and all that good stuff. So yeah, if that's what you want. And or just get used to hitting Command-Shift-L when you want to see them. Like sometimes training our fingers is the best shortcut of all.
Right. But then when you're watching over somebody's shoulder as they're using a computer, you're just going,
yeah.
Command-Shift-L.
If I only I could be inside your hands at this moment and fix this for you. Yeah.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah. All right. We've got some gift guide stuff, and assuming we get through that, we will also have some cool stuff found. So fun stuff happening here. The next thing that we're going to do is talk about our sponsor. And here's the thing. You don't need another Mac maintenance app that nags you or slows you down. And that's what I love about our sponsor, CleanMyMac. It's the tool I trust to actually make my Mac faster, cleaner, better organized without getting in my way. All three of us here at MGG, we use it on every one of our Macs, from junk file removal to malware scans. It's got everything you need. And then it surprises you with features you didn't know you needed, like Maintenance scripts, right? You know your Mac has those built-in housekeeping routines that sometimes get skipped if your Mac sleeps too much. CleanMyMac runs them manually to keep things humming. It's like a behind-the-scenes tune-up. Space Lens, another one of my favorite features. I'm so glad they brought it back. Lets me figure out where all my storage is being used. The interface is gorgeous. The features are powerful, and it's all wrapped in something that feels and is genuinely helpful. Don't get caught with a sluggish Mac when CleanMyMac can help you fix it in minutes. Get tidy today. Try 7 days free and use our code MACGEEK for 20% off at clnmy.com/MacGeek. That's all uppercase with the MacGeek part. So CLNMY, CleanMy, but with no vowels except sometimes Y, but you just put that at the end. So clnmy.com/MacGeek, or just click the link in our show notes. And thank you so much to CleanMyMac for sponsoring this episode. I think you're going to love it. Go check it out. And speaking of tightening up your tech, if you run a business or manage the IT behind one, NordLayer is one of those things that just makes sense. I've been digging into it, and it checks all the boxes, man. Secure remote access, device health monitoring, threat detection, and it is built to scale with your team. NordLayer is built on the same foundation as NordVPN, right, which we all know, and it's purpose-built for business, giving you secure access and full control across your devices and users. No hardware, no messy setup, just modern network security that works. And with tools like split tunneling, IP allow listing, and dark web monitoring, it's got the smart stuff already baked in. So if you're like me and you want to stay ahead of threats without slowing down your team, this is one of those don't get caught moments, because NordLayer helps you stay protected before the bad stuff happens. Grab their Black Friday deal now. 28% off NordLayer yearly plans with code MacGeekGab-28 at nordlayer.com/MacGeekGab. We'll put it in the show notes for you. That's nordlayer.com/MacGeekGab and code MacGeekGab-28. So MacGeekGab, all written out, lowercase, -28. Try it risk-free with their 14-day money-back guarantee. I really think you're going to love it. And our thanks to you for checking them out, and to NordLayer for sponsoring this episode. All right, Pete. Gift guide time. Hat's gone. Gift guide time. My very, very first IoT device, it's probably wrong, but the one that I intentionally thought of as an IoT device was a set of 4 Philips Hue bulbs.
Love those things.
I know they're expensive. We comment on the fact that they're expensive here on the show. I took these bulbs and I put all 4 of them outside. 2 outside my front door on either side, 1 in my lamppost, and 1 in the light outside of my office here. And these things are probably 10 years old, if not older. I spent $200 on the set of 4. It came with the Hue hub, which I think you don't even need anymore because they're smarter than that now. But, and they are still running perfectly more than a decade later. This is what LED bulbs are supposed to be, right? They're supposed to last forever, but if they don't build them with quality components, we've all bought the non-smart LED bulbs from Amazon where you pay, $12 and you get 6 bulbs or something, and you put them in your lights in your house or whatever that are on regular switches. And then after about, I don't know, they say that they'll, outlast the cockroaches even. And then the LEDs will, but the guts that they put in there to convert power to make it work for the LED, like the circuit boards and stuff, they overheat, and over time, it takes maybe a year and a half or 2 years, and they die, and we got to replace them just like we always replaced every other light bulb. And we don't even think about it. These bulbs are the perfect gift guide edition because I've never thought about them. I put them in, I got them set up, and I don't think about it. They just turn on at the right time of day. They turn off at the right time of day. I love it. And there's nothing else to say about it. So super reliable. So that's my initial addition to the gift guide today.
Perfect.
So that's what I got for you. Yeah.
Do you use IFT? Or I don't even think I use IFT anymore. Mine are automations that come on, at sunset. at sunrise.
Yeah.
They go off,
My automations are all, I have, at the moment anyway, remained normalized on the Amazon A-Lady ecosystem for my home automations, because everything that I do is compatible with that. And so I can have all of my routines in one place. I really want to, and probably will soon, move them over to Home Assistant or something, that's a little more, little less, yeah. Well, I mean, Home Assistant's, it's an interesting. I do run Home Assistant here and we use it for a couple of things. I've talked about it on the show. It's great with more complex automations, and of course, it talks locally to your devices, like we were talking about before. So it's super fast with things. So I'll probably, the next time I have free time, I'll dive deeper into Home Assistant. But yeah, no, I've got all my automations in A-Lady, and it works. Yeah. It's fairly flawless. There's times when it's like whatever, but yeah. So
what is this free time of which you speak?
Yeah, it was a joke, Pete. It was a joke.
I've heard of such things, but not sure it exists. The unobtainium.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, I got something in the gift guide realm.
Yeah, so the concept for the gift guide, so that everybody understands, is for this year, I gave us a challenge of finding those things that we use so frequently, that are so embedded into our lives that we forget about them. And that's, for me, that's why the Philips Hue bulbs were a good one. But it's hard coming up with these. But you've got one that I think I helped you come up with.
Yes, you did help me with it, but only because I've used it every day for, I think, coming up on 2 full years now, since we stumbled into their booth hidden in a remote corner, and they're not hidden anymore because they've taken off as they should have. It's the OhSnap Snap Grip. About the same thickness as a penny. Last one minted yesterday, 11/13.
Oh,
look it up.
Yeah, that's right.
No more pennies.
Yeah.
They're going to be around forever.
You're right.
Like a bad penny, they'll be around forever.
Yeah.
But the OhSnap Snap Grip, they claim thinner than a nickel, about the thickness of a penny. This thing is wonderful. It's the best. I guess Pop Socket was the first one to kind of be along those lines, but it took the Pop Socket and perfected it, because it is MagSafe compatible. You can charge your phone on a Qi charger through, or on a MagSafe charger through the socket without having to take it off your phone. It's
that thin, and passes it through.
Yeah, and it works as a stand. It works as a grip. And as I was telling Dave pre-show, I recently got the iPhone 17 Pro Max. My wife got the iPhone 16 Pro, and about a week later, she got herself a new case, and I immediately went and swiped my OhSnap Snap Grip off of it, off the old case, and put it on the new, so it's reusable, but it is the most... I've never had it fall off, and I mean, I have slung this thing hard, and the Snap Grip is amazing. Comes in a bunch of different colors. They have the OhSnap Snap Grip. They've cracked the code. Seriously, go look at it if you're looking for a grip that's a stand and a grip, and
and they're up to version 5 now, and they keep it like they are masters of iterative design. They just keep making little tweaks to this thing that just gets better and better. With the first one, you had to stick it to your phone. Like, it was magnetic, but they didn't trust it enough. Yeah, it was kind of glued to your phone. I mean, it was removable glue, but still, with the Snap Grip 5, you don't, like, you just put it on your phone, and you can move it, like you just said, Pete. You can move it to another phone. So yeah, it's good stuff. I like it. My next submission to our, were you done with that? Okay. My next submission to our gift guide is I every year I do something like this, but is the Outtro flashlights. I love all of their flashlights, and these are self-contained batteries, like not removable batteries, which means the flashlight doesn't have to be round, because batteries aren't round, and they can be tiny and super bright. I call all of the Outtro flashlights the X-Files flashlights, because I remembered watching the very first episode of the X-Files, and Mulder and Scully had to walk into the woods for some reason. They turned on their flashlights, and the entire woods lit up. And it was like, okay, that like I want that
It's almost
flashlight.
like they had a whole Hollywood set of lighting there.
Exactly. Well, I have used my Outtro flashlight to light up the woods behind my house at night. We actually had some hunters back there, and they were like making strange noises. And I wasn't sure what was going on, and so I lit them up. And they were like, yeah, whatever. But they needed to move along is what they needed to do. And so I lit up the woods and it was like, there it is. I have an X-Files flashlight. The one that and they have all kinds of, Outtro has all kinds of different lights for different form factors. I have one that I keep in my gig bag that's just like a clip-on light that can like sort of light from the side, so I can just clip it onto things. And what's cool about them is they have all different types of lights in them, and then also brightnesses of those lights. And what that means is you can have like super bright for 5 minutes and then burn your battery out, light up the woods. But you can also have, moonlight mode, which will go for 4 days on a single charge, and then if anywhere in between. And some of them have red light in it. Like the one that I use on stage has red light, which is great. I just put it in moonlight mode on red light, so I can walk onto a dark stage and I can see my stuff and like get rolling, and it's not distracting because I don't have the light pointing into the crowd. They would see the little red dot, but I position it properly so I can see my stuff without really disrupting kind of whatever the lighting director's doing. And then like the one I'm showing here, the Outtro, I'm showing the ArkPro. This one has a black light in it too, an ultraviolet light. So pick your features and spend. The only trick about these is learning how to use the buttons to make it do what you want to do, because there's so many features and so many brightness levels that you've got to kind of think about it, and they all have different ways of interacting with them. Once you learn it, it's like super easy. It's one of those hand memory kind of things. So anyway, I will put links to that in the show notes. Fun stuff.
You had it up there, and that entire time I never bothered to look. What was the price point on that?
Price on this is $99.
Okay.
You can find deals on these things, and again, depending on which light you choose to buy, it's going to be different prices. This one actually comes. You can USB-C charge it, or it has a magnetic charger that you can just kind of leave it on the base and grab it when you need it, which is very cool. It fits in your hand nicely. It just does all of the things, and it just works.
Wow.
So yeah. So
fantastic.
The Outtro,
cool.
Yeah. I love these things. They're the size of stocking stuffers, which is what I like. You've got a stocking stuffer to recommend, don't you, Pete?
I do. And another one. These aren't free, but I bought a pair when they came out and absolutely love them. The AirPods Pro 3. The sound in AirPods Pro are amazing. Look, Dave's an audiophile, and I've said these are the best I've ever heard, and I'm sure there are others that are very good. With my hearing, I'm telling you, I can't tell any difference at this point. These are so good. The bass is deep and rich. The spatial audio is nice. The AirPods Pro 3 are fantastic. And recently took a cruise to Germany, spent time in Germany and France, and the Live Translate feature. They're in both ears. You simply squeeze and hold the stems on both, and it comes up into Live Translate. If you've pre-selected the language, even better. And you can have a conversation with somebody. You hold out your phone if they don't have AirPods Pro 3, and they can read what you're saying and respond to you in their language. And that was cool. I was able to listen to things like the tour guide was talking to the bus driver in French, and I was able to hold it up do that and listen to what they were saying. It wasn't very interesting, but
yeah.
But nonetheless, I could hear it. It was directions. Hey, you can go here because we've got a smaller group. Pull off to the
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So that was cool. The active noise canceling on these, I can't give you definitive numbers, but I can tell you it's better than the AirPods Pro 2. It is really good. It is almost silent, even in a jet airplane. The active noise canceling is just amazing. And it came out some time ago in AirPods Pro 2, but this is kind of a quick tip in there. You can get active noise canceling in one ear.
Yes.
which I find really helpful, especially if I'm trying to listen to a podcast, something like that. It cuts out the extra noise and only the voice is coming through. So I think they're $249. I bet you can find them on sale between now and Christmas.
Yep. And a lot of the features that you talked about, in fact, every feature that you talked about works with the AirPods Pro Gen 2 as well, which you can find for less than $200. That's what I still have. I haven't bought the 3, but the live translation works on it. I've tried it. The obviously noise cancellation works. Now, the noise cancellation is better on the Pro 3. There are things that are better, many things that are better.
Battery life is ostensibly much better.
Exactly.
Especially since my 2s are 3 years old.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But if you're looking for these features without spending the price of the brand newly released AirPods, check the AirPods Pro Gen 2. In fact, let me see if I can find those while we're talking here.
Oh yeah.
Because like Amazon has them. Amazon's pricing on them isn't great. It's $228 right now. But keep an eye on those.
Target and Walmart seem to, and I've bet you
bought them for less.
You could ask ChatGPT to keep an eye on that for you.
Yes, you can. That's true. Yep. I also want to share the tips for AirPods. For those of you like me, where the silicone tips don't seal or fit right or stay in your ear, AirPods Pro 3 do come with foam tips now as an option, right?
Yes.
You can.
Yes,
yep. So that is an upgrade.
That is.
The Comply memory foam tips are now just this week available for AirPods Pro Gen 3. They've previously been available for 1 and 2. I love these Comply tips. When I got them and put them on my AirPods, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. And they still fit in the case. Like it doesn't change the usability. Right. But I thought, these are foam tips. I'm going to have to replace them all the time. That sucks. No, it doesn't suck. I replaced them. I put them on over a year ago, and just this past weekend, I replaced them only because Lisa was asking me about, did I have any foam tips for hers? I'm like, I probably do. I pulled out a drawer, and I had a couple of sets of these Comply ones, and put them on hers. And I was like, you know what? It's been a year plus. I probably should change mine out too. So I did, but I really didn't even need to. So they do last quite a while. These foam
mine
tips.
Were just starting to get chewed up, and I want to guess at about 18 months.
Yeah, right. But that's not 6 weeks, So
right.
yeah. Yep. So the foam tips are great. Comply has been making memory foam for a very long time. I have tried off brands. Some of them are fine. The Comply foam is good memory foam. And for getting a seal in your ears, you need good memory foam. So there are other brands that make them, but you will, the ones that are less expensive, to quote the late great Neil Peart, are cheap and worth it. So don't look to save too much here, because you will fall short at least in my experience. So yeah. Anyway, all right, where are we on this?
Let's thinking of cool stuff found. Or?
Yeah, we've got time for a couple cool stuffs found. So let's do this. Go.
All right. Well, I'm going to take us from Jeff, who wrote in. His was rather long, and I condensed it down. And he essentially, here's a suggestion for a cool stuff found item. It's an app/service that I've used for several years now and really like. It's called What 3 Words, and we'll put the link on the web on the page there, but in the show notes. But we talked about it. I think I was only able to find it one other time in there, and it had to do with I think DoorDash getting to you. But you check out their about page for some details. But it's an ingenious service that divides the entire planet into 3-meter squares, each labeled with a unique 3-word address. And our old house, one of the squares in the front yard had the word stewardess in it, which I had to laugh because of Debbie's flight attendant status.
Yes.
But
yes.
It's fast and a precise way to share or find exact locations. If you need to meet friends in a crowded theme park, locate your car in a huge parking lot, or direct someone to a remote trailhead or campsite, open the app, grab your 3-word address, and share it. Then they can tap that link and open it in Apple Maps, Google Maps, Waze, or other navigation apps for turn-by-turn directions to that precise location. It's great for planning trips. You can save hotel, restaurant, and sightseeing spots in advance, or use it to mark a pickup or drop-off location. Uber, Lyft, those folks. The basic app is free and works worldwide, and with a small optional new lips optional subscription for extra features. So many thanks, Jeff. I've used it a few times, and I didn't even think about some of those use cases that he brought to our attention. So
I like it. That's great.
Fantastic. Yeah, no need to drop a pin. And how do I drop a pin? How do I share my location? Here.
Yeah, right. Just put these in. Yeah, exactly. I like it. Yeah. It's an interesting service. And using it in those ways, that's good. I'm not a huge fan of e-waste, Pete, and with all these IoT devices that we have, sometimes they are forcibly removed from our ability, or our ability to use them is forcibly removed from us, as recently happened.
I thought you were going to throw this one on the ice at a hockey game.
Yeah. So my Nest Gen 1 thermostat that keeps me warm here in the studio went offline last month, about 3 weeks ago. Thank you, Google. Google acquired Nest after they, started building thermostats, and now has the whole line, and they have new ones, and I have some of those in the house. I actually really like the Nest thermostats once I learned how to tell them not to be too smart, because they get a little too smart here in New England, but that's okay. But I set schedules on it, and I use the app or the web service to do things, and Google said earlier this year, yeah, we're ending that. And your thermostat will work, but only with local access. So if I want to change the schedule, I have to do it like a caveman on the thermostat itself.
You have to walk all the way across the room and touch it?
Yeah, but what I do, but the real use case would be I'm at the house and I think, I'm going to come over and play my drums later, or I get a schedule. There's a podcast later today. Okay, I want to turn up the heat in the studio, and I would do it with the app or something. Like, okay, great, I'll let the studio start to heat up, because we didn't put enough baseboard here in the studio, so it takes like an hour to heat up the room. We should have done more, but we were bad choices. Anyway, so it's really handy to have remote access to this thing, and once a week, because my podcasting schedule changes, I can sit with the web interface open and my calendar, and I can do the schedule that way. And so yesterday, after 3 weeks of dealing with this thing being offline, I thought, okay, I got to go buy a thermostat. And I asked ChatGPT, which I've been asking it for months. Has anybody solved this? Because there's a lot of these out there. I figured somebody was going to solve it. Has anybody solved it? No. Has anybody solved it? No. And I asked it yesterday, and it's like, would you like me to look at things that have been published in just the last month to see if there's anything? And it found it. The NoLongerEvil-Thermostat project, Pete. I found out about this. It was created because of a programmer. His name is Cody Kosiemba. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Cody. He has his company Hack House, where they just this is their job. And there was a Fulu, F-U-L-U bounty announcement, which I think is currently up to about $15,000 for someone to solve this problem. And so he thought, okay, well, if I can solve this, that would be great, because he had a Nest thermostat and he's a talented programmer. And, he wanted to stick it to Google. He explains on his page why he hates Google. And it's not just this, it predates all of this. So it was like, I can stick it to Google and maybe even make a little money, from this bounty. But yeah. And so he built this thing, and I started looking at it, and it was like, you have to install Homebrew, which of course I have, and then you've got to install some packages, and then you got to you got to clone this repository from GitHub, which I know how to do all these things. I already have Homebrew, but it's like, okay, what's this process going to be like? I started thinking about this at 4:30 p.m. yesterday. By 4:50 p.m. yesterday, I was texting Pete and Adam a picture of my thermostat that said Nest, now made with 100% less evil, because I had successfully flashed the firmware on it and gotten it online with this new firmware. It couldn't possibly have been easier. His instructions are perfect. They worked flawlessly for me. He does have a big warning that says, you're putting experimental software on your own device and it might brick it. So you have to be ready for it to be bricked. And of course I was. I still have an old thermostat that I can plug in and, it will function until I find, some suitable replacement. So I was like, yeah, I'm in. And so I did. It just connect it to your Mac with a USB cable. Thankfully, the thermostat has a micro USB port on it, so I had a micro USB cable. You have to have the right one. Turns out some of these charging only cables do not work with this, because the first one I plugged in, it's like, how come it's not recognizing it? And then I looked in the USB system information, also not recognizing it. I'm like, okay. I tried another cable, it recognized it, and instantly it just flashed the firmware and it was done. I would bet the Kindle cable that comes with your Kindle would work, because that's a data cable. Yeah, you need a data cable. That's exactly it. Yeah, exactly. So I, I did that, and now it works. He is actually hosting a website called NordLayer.com where you can log. That's where the thermostat logs into. So he becomes the cloud instead of Google becoming the cloud. However, being a programmer and an open source advocate, he has created a Docker container where you can run your own local instance of that service. So you are not tied to anyone. The Docker container isn't quite finished in a way that makes it easy to install. I've seen some other people sort of having trouble with it. So for now, I'm using it with his No Longer Evil hosted thing, but I will do the Docker thing eventually, just so that if Google tries to shut him down, I still have access to my thermostat. So I'm stoked about this. I love this. I love things like this. I'm so happy that I was able to get this to work and how easy it was. So yeah. Is he charging anything for this? Because you said he was talking about maybe make a little money. So no. There's a bounty. There's a project called the FULU Bounty, and it's a crowd-funded thing where people create. Oh man, has this bounty gone up here? So anyway, it's a crowd-funded thing at FULU Foundation. I'll put a link in the show notes to it all. Okay. But yeah, so it's yeah. It looks like there's 5 active bounties. Anyway, I gotta find it. Okay. But yeah. Bounties.fulu.org. Yeah, there it is. So there's active bounties for, they've got them for the Nest, obviously. GE refrigerator water filter replacement. There's a bounty for that. Xbox Series X. There's parts hampering independent optical drive repair. That's got a $30,000 bounty. The Nest one it's about almost 15,000 now. And there's like a matching fund and all this stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Explain what a bounty is, would you? Oh, this is they said, okay, look, we know that there's this problem and we would love to see someone clever solve it. So let's incentivize them by creating a dollar, a prize for a bounty is a prize essentially but a prize for winning for fixing it. Yeah. And they have a matching fund for this. So there's been $2,400 in public donations, $2,400 in the matching fund, and then somehow another, $9,000 is in there because the pot is at 14.7K or something. Nice. So yeah, people you can back this thing, and I don't think you can back it anymore because it's theoretically solved. Right. It doesn't look like they're allowing backing, and it says it's pending assessment, which probably means that they're reviewing to see, does this guy deserve the bounty? And in my opinion, I would say yes. I don't know. It took you almost 20 minutes to do this. Yeah. It was pretty good. Yeah, I was pretty including thinking about it. right. Including researching or letting ChatGPT research it for me. But yeah. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, fun stuff. And that takes us to the end for today, but not the end. We have lots more cool stuff found. I'm sure, my friend. You always sing that. It's so dark. Yeah, sorry. And he walks on down the hall, folks. Yeah. So it's fun. I like what we get to do here. Thank you for listening and participating and supporting us. And listening is the primary way of supporting us. That really it is. Subscribe to the show. Make sure you get every episode. Share the show with people. If you would like to be part of our premium program, where you contribute directly to us, a bounty, if you would, for doing the show, a reward. Yeah, we would love that. It is absolutely a part of our support structure here, but it's certainly not mandatory. MacGeekGab.com/premium. The link's always in the show notes and on the website. So, yeah, it's kind of our own home-cooked Patreon thing, because we started that before Patreon was a glimmer. Patreon could have been our glimmer if we were smarter, but we're not that smart. Plus, we spend our time doing the show. So, thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to CashFly for providing all the bandwidth to get the show from us to you. Thanks to our giveaway partner with I can envision it, OpenCase, because I can envision it because I have one on my phone right now, and it's great. Right, because my little pop socket doesn't stick up all that much because I don't have an OhSnap on this phone. I have my Geek Gab pop socket on there, but the OpenCase is really smart. So sign up for the giveaway at MacGeekGab.com/giveaway. And if you missed hearing Adam, you can listen to him on the Debut Film podcast, which he does with his daughter. If you want more of Pete, So There I Was is his other show. And if you want more of me, I do 2 other shows every week. Geek Gab for working musicians and Business Brain for entrepreneurs. Thanks for hanging out, folks. We'll see you next week.
I got to argue. Business Brain is for everybody, not just for entrepreneurs.
Well, that's true. That's fair.
That's just Geek Gab if you like music.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Pete, your shirt says don't get caught.
Don't.
Made on a Mac.
Later.